definitely found a better fit over time after that. So it's good to see him have some success as he left FaZe, who we saw play earlier, just the last match. Where we'll be going, it won't be Theme Park, that's for sure. Ninjas and Pyjamas do not want to go there. Villa. Well, the map that Latin America doesn't really like to play all that much, and when they do, they like to ban Thatcher and make it almost difficult to watch. So should be interesting. Ninjas and Pyjamas, though, do have a better record on it. Both these teams have played it once. MIBR lost 2-7. NIP won 7-2. So I think it's a better pick for NIP than it is for MIBR, and they had last ban, so it was here at Coastline. So I can understand why they made that choice.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of backed into a quarter. I'm not sure if MIBR were kind of expecting to go on either or map, but in the end, you definitely should have something ready for it. If NIP are banning Coastline, it means they're just not comfortable with it. We've seen it with NIP and other teams in the past. It's online phase for LATAM, so things kind of change. It's different than what we would see on LAN. 71% for NIP here against MIBR makes a complete amount of sense. There's a reason why NIP were, the second best team in the world at Invitational. They're number 1 right now in the region. It's pretty darn good for the squad, but Villa's going to be a challenge because it's such a tactical and strategic map. And after NIP's lost last playday is 7-1, it's not pretty. You never know what can happen in LATAM.
Yeah, definitely, especially on Villa, especially when Thatcher's banned. Really could come down to some pretty crazy gunfights. See what those op bans are going to be. And what will we start with? Probably Thatcher, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, unless someone bans Thatcher and Maverick, there's Thatcher. There you go. Please don't ban Maverick. Please don't ban Maverick. Please don't ban Maverick.
Yeah, please don't.
That's like 70% of my notes just suddenly disappearing.
Yeah, you just make that 70% of your notes. Please don't ban Maverick.
Please don't ban Maverick. Please don't ban Maverick.
It's your all work and no play.
Yeah, we'll be a Jackal. We'll be a Maverick.
No.
Yes, I will. They banned Hungry, man.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it does look like Hungry.
Okay, so here it is. They modeled Buck after Intero. They modeled Maestro after me. And Oryx, of course. Makes a lot of sense. And then they modeled Maverick after Hungry. It makes a ton of sense. There it is.
Yeah. Well, where's mine? Some people said I look a little like Thermite, but I don't know. When's it going to do me?
I think you're more of Frost.
Wow. I don't even wear beanies.
I think you can definitely call Kicks more of a Yana or Lana or however you want to say it.
I'm sure you'd appreciate that.
After a few squats, I think you can definitely hit that level. But there's the Echo and the Mira, last 2 operators banned. Nothing out of the ordinary. This just means that the attackers are going to have such a rough time actually getting in. But what they can use is the fact that they have 2 heart beaters left, the Thermite and Habana, and the Capitao, which is usually really, really big until you remember that Wamai gets played quite a bit. So there's the question floating around.
I mean, Capitao is definitely strong on this map in quite a few spots, so I think he'll definitely have an impact if Julio could stay alive, and he usually does. He usually doesn't over-engage. He's definitely a good flex support kind of player for this team. And nothing's being played on the defense side that's really going to slow down this attack lineup too much, other than, you've got the operator bans to make it more difficult to get in. So it's just going to be down to, are we going to see possibly, I was going to say some impact tricking, but I don't see any impacts. There's not really much they could do to stop Habana from being able to do the job other than maybe throwing C4s over the top. I guess the mute jammers really, but you can nade those out pretty effectively. So it's going to be, you can clear Jaeger's ADSs in sight for those nades pretty well. So I don't see a lot stopping those walls from getting open with Habana here. I don't feel like MIBR is taking full advantage of the op bans.
Defenders left the area of operation.
So drones are being set up here, and they were able to spot one of the MIBR players. Not sure if it was Bullet actually playing in there and dining, but it would make sense. So you do have to clear him out downstairs before you go up. Unsurprising. It's relatively difficult to get through this, but especially since there's that Thatcher Maverick ban. But really, if you're able to clear players downstairs and put pressure in multiple angles, this can always work for the attackers, but you have to be proficient. A lot of times, this whole 20-second meta thing actually gets into your head when people keep repeating it, and it's more about the attackers failing to realize what the actual solution is until it's way too late and we lost too much time to actually be efficient in their take. This is not the majority of people, but still, it happens so often that it's easy to put the blame on something out of your control. There it is. Moves to the good clear on a bullet. The Valkyrie's down. And it's very well done and set. Now the buck can start working from below and putting pressure on the defenders. But that angle, look at the hatch that have been opened up at the top of 90. As Psycho gets one more, this is going to turn Novi's attention away. He can't just peek for free now.
Yeah, of course, this has got to be good timing for Pino. Really, he just needs someone to cover him, so he doesn't have to spend his time looking at that hole. So he can start to buck here from the back of the bar, really, is where you want to start to get people out of. Make sure that they can't sit in that position. And then, of course, you want to try and see if you can find some angles, maybe in a gun vault, things like that. But it's all about that buck being able to pressure from below as long as possible. And then if they take control of 90, it becomes a lot easier to make this happen. Of course, getting control of 90 is very difficult, and that is why. But hey, he could even possibly lob grenades up that hatch. The buck could. So definitely different ways to play this here. A little slow going as there's still only a minute left, and they have yet to really find much outside of the 2 kills in terms of map control. But those 2 kills will obviously be important once it comes down to 20-second meta. But NIP finding a third. Okay, this round pretty close to done here.
Yeah, there's 2 players there. Sure, the Maestro can do a lot of work, and he will find one, but Julius find the perfect entrance there, and there's Muzi from behind. NIP dismantle MIBR as I was literally talking about at the start of the round. If you get the right picks, then you can crush your opponents that are just sitting inside of the site, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, again, also, MIBR weren't doing a ton that was really going to stop that. Like, they didn't set up with a ton of gadget utility to really delay much, and then losing the fight downstairs meant any advantage you had there and stopping the buck wasn't going to happen. It's just, if they're just going to try the same thing again, I hope they're going to six-pick something to try and change it up a little bit. Like, maybe throw in a Goyo, at least, there we go, at least the Kaed to be able to try and stave off their ability to open up walls on the Hibana. That's a good idea. Better than nothing here. But it's just, again, it's not really doing much. You almost might want to go with just mute Mozzie just to make it really hard for them to even drone into sight. Just to make sure that they don't know what they're walking into. But at the same time, it's just, if they have man advantage like they did last round, sufficient one, and then they're able to open up holes in walls, it just becomes angle play and whether or not they can win those angle gunfights, especially if they have any utility left like stuns or firebolts. It's really difficult to fight that. So I'd like to see just better gadget use from the defenders, and then honestly some good C4 kills. They really need to land those. If Bullet can't be effective downstairs, he needs to be ready to rotate back up.
10 seconds to insertion. Ready to activate. 5 seconds to
No, Bullet, that roam from Bullet just did not help at all, I have to say. If you're going to roam around, you can't just play solo. And I felt that was the play from MIBR. They just had people that were in different locations in the map, but there was no synergy. And unfortunately, if you're just roaming solo, that doesn't actually accomplish much, especially if there's multiple players that are doing it solo. It just means that you get picked off easier. And NIP they've proven that in the last round, just really good at finding you and picking you off. They're not wasting any time with that, and they have the utility to deal with the site. That Capitao is a huge boon to the team, and Novi's right into the welcoming arms of Muzi. He tried to drop down, he was not even pressured inside of the office, and that was a free kill.
Yeah, it was good droning as well. You saw the drone earlier kind of spotting that and setting up for that kill. So it's good teamwork on that to make sure that those drones are being effective. And honestly, if you look at the drones still left alive, guess what? They're all left alive. That's a big boon for NIP. The fact that they're able to keep their drones going despite the mute jammers and just making sure they're getting full intel out of this. Nothing really coming out from MIBR to stop that. The mute dead now. His gadget's already out, but most importantly, his C4 gone. As they have only maybe 3 C4s. And now down to 2 or 1. Good angle being held here, but no one's going to push it right away. It's just good coverage for each other. They're playing the downstairs well, despite Pino taking a bit of damage there.
It's still pretty close there. The grenade. Yeah, unfortunate. No damage being done to the defenders above. But you're pushing them back, and that's what really matters. The angle being set up by the buck, and They know what's up here. Cyber knows that he can get pushed from below, and these angles are just open to deal with him.
Located by
X-Kairos will open up an angle, and there's Cyber. There you go. He hits it, and the claw, perfect timing on the Electro Claw to deal with the wall. No breaching right now. NIP will be slowed for just a bit, and they might have to take from another angle. If not, then at least slow down their opponents. And using the X-Kairos now on this sidewall next to the indestructible bar is definitely a good idea, and that's exactly what the one is going to do. Oh, did they lose them all? Yes, they did. Oh my god. Telegraphed.
Nicely done. Good job with the Electric Claw there. That was, again, a change that they made to be able to adapt a little bit better this attack. It's helping. We're going to have the smoke come out from Julio, though, on his Capital Firebolt, but they don't actually push into it. It just baits out counter smoke from Smoke himself, and Julio managing to pick off one with his own gun. Going to help. Kamikaze is down camera and finishes him off along with Julio, though, and now Diffuser down in Classical Hallway. We're going to see Psycho pushing up, last man left alive against 3 near full health defenders. There we go. Shotgun to finish things off. Cameraman with a nice 3K that round, all with the shotty.
You can't do much against this. Again, shotgun up close. You believe in the M590, you're going to win every gunfight. So, there it was.
That's the problem is, and that's why you play behind that bar right there. Very difficult to be able to push that doorway. That's the problem, right? Is if you can't open anything up, you're not going to be able to push any other angle but doorways for the most part, and full advantage being taken out of that by Cameraman. Nice job. So that will definitely help secure at least one round. So now finally an Aviator Games win out of the way with some good adjustments. Hopefully they will also play adequately here in Trophy. Looks like they're just really not considering the Maestro to be super important as they keep six-picking off of him specifically. But Julio's going to make a change here as well, knowing that they're going to be in a different bomb site. He knows he's going to want to hunt roamers a bit more on this site, so they are going to bring the Dokkaebi for phone calls. Smart adjustment. See how this setup goes for this particular bomb site. Another one where it does help to have the Thatcher ban, because of dealing with the walls from the triple wall rather from main bedroom is definitely difficult to deal with, along with the castle barricades here helping with astronomy. Of course, they can open up the window there with Psycho's breach charges, so it's not like either of those windows that M King put up will be long for this world, but it will slow them down a little bit and force Psycho to have to spend time doing that, assuming they want them both open, and you generally do want both of those open. They offer good crossfires, especially the astronomy window. The reverse repel on that very effective, so I imagine that will happen. The question is, where are they going to attack from? Are they going to attack from Aviator? Are we going to see some pinch from the master bedroom and or astronomy side? Definitely some different ways to push this, either as one whole team or spread out flanks a bit more.
So, more angle is being opened up here by NIP. They're putting so much pressure on a 90 window, and they know that if they clear Aviator Game Room, then they're going to have an easier way to enter into the site. Psycho will find Novi's, and that was the player at the top of the landing here, right? The main stairs. Yeah, there it is. It's a big kill. There's still the Jaeger around the corner, and yeah, Cyber is now set inside a billiards. Gonna try to stay alive right now as long as he can, but losing 2 players for free and early in the round is not something that would work for you as MIBR. And there's the Ash peeling off the right moment. Just take no damage. You get the ping on the Jaeger, pre-fire through the wall, and then you just sit back, wait until the info is clear. And there's Psycho for 1. And unfortunately, yeah, it's no finisher. Oh, M King's gonna be able to run away there on the castle, and yet again, something that can be found, but it's an Ash. They lost the Jaeger and a Wamai in the end, and I come out with a bonus.
I mean, absolutely. I would trade the castle for the Wamai any day. You're much better off losing M King in this situation. I mean, I imagine he maybe has the super shorty, which is not exactly a high combat weapon to benefit him either, so it's not going to be a big difference versus the Ump most of the time outside of the destruction it offers. So losing the Wamai, definitely a big loss, especially if grenades are still left available. Although at least there will be a little bit less soft destruction that Wamai would catch with the Ash down. Here goes the last grenade. And looks like it was fairly well executed, but doesn't actually land a kill.
Well, there's a drone to confirm the position of M King. There's no grenades left for Pino, and those bullets are coming very, very close. Gonna run away for the second here, but the castle is sticking right behind the deer. And just sitting inside a trophy. You see him moving right behind it in that tiny slit in the bomb itself, the chassis itself. Cameraman will find Psycho in the meantime, and he'll put it on equal footing in 3v3. But look, you have that peeker's advantage that you can use. And Bullet, look at the bullet hole being put into play. Puno has been taken away in the round, and NIP suddenly are against the wall. This is supposed to be an NIP victory, yet MIBR just finding the right angles, retreating at the right time. CZ75 is going to come out, but you can tell Julio does not know where his opponent is. They're going to try to double up for this gunfight, but the shotgun up close is going to do work. Super shorty, you're not going to run away from that one, and there's shotgun behind you. There's the cleanup. MIBR victorious again, but this is Villa with Thatcher and Maverick banned.
Yeah,
It's going to be tough for attack.
Especially with the shotguns. He didn't expect the super shorty to do a lot that round, but I mean, when they're playing double shotgun like that, time's running out and they're forced through a doorway funnel. Yeah, that's kind of nice. A cameraman, again, collecting more with that. He's just, with the SAS shotgun, doing work round after round. It is absolutely working out. I mean, there was a great start to that one by NIP. The problem is they didn't have a follow-up to actually take site. They didn't have any utility for it. The Capitao might have been able to help with that had they not sixth picked off of him. I mean, the early picks were definitely helped by the Dokkaebi being played. The problem was, again, just no follow-up operators. They didn't have any, they didn't land enough kills with the grenades to be able to do more work in sight. They didn't have any way to actually pressure sight outside of flashbangs. At that point, and maybe some stuns from the lifeline. So they just didn't have utility that was going to work them to help them actually take that site. But especially with the bullet, playing bullet holes, things like that, it was really just them walking into MIBR. Dining is a little bit of a different beast, though. This should be interesting to see how this goes down. Top floor control matters here. So Pino likely will be very important in making sure he's able to do quite a bit with that buck upstairs. We'll actually see the first, I think the first Nomad here from NIP. Switch things up again. Stop those late. You really do want to stop the late flanks on this site, especially. So this, I think that is a good choice. Only problem is it makes it difficult to stop some of those rotates because of the vault through that skylight area there to give a quick rotate into red.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
It's one way to rotate without stairwells or hatches, so.
So I'm just actually glad that NIP went off of Dokkaebi because you could tell it didn't really help them in the last round.
Nah, not enough.
No, there's
We'll see from M King's a great choice when you know that top floor play is going to be important as well. If he can stay alive and just call out for a Siemens to hit these C4s, of which they potentially could have 5. Is there? Can we expand the MIBR roster and see? I would love to see if they have all 5 C4s.
Marciu, proszę, can we switch to MIBR's POV? Let's see if all of the players are running nitro cells. That would be great. There it is. Thank you. Dziękuję about it. So 5 nitros. I love it.
They are looking to do Buck's job of opening up the floor for him, I think.
So yeah, it's a strat. Again, I talked about it so many times when I have Villa. It's about lulling the attackers, into a false sense of security. Once they take control of that top floor, they realize that we just lost a lot of time taking it, and now they're gonna nitro us.
Yeah.
Really good play there from MIBR. I like the strat.
Here's one counter they do have, though. The pulse is the most important part of that, because if he could stay alive, he could do a lot of work. And there goes Pino. So he's not the most important part. At least they trade it back. What I was going to say is Psycho's the most important part, because if he can track down the pulse, they can get an idea of where C4s are likely to come out from, and potentially even pop him in the head if he's lucky through the floor. So that is one way they can counter the C4 game. Also, killing Cyber helps, and you heard one C4 go off. That might have been from Cyber. I think that was after he died, though, so very likely from one of the other players. And another C4 going off. You see Psycho trying to do what I said there. He's trying to track down Pulse. He's going to at least find one of the mute jammers. This is going to be a game of cat and mouse through the floor here.
Yeah, and it's just wasting so much time. And that's why you just bring the breach charges, open up as much of the floorboard as you can, but also having that fully reinforced wall with even a electroclaw. I think it was set downstairs from downstairs. That's why it's still electrifying the wall. But it denies you the opportunity to rotate easily between your 2 hard points, and a lot of damage there being exchanged, but it's still Psycho on the back foot. He's the one that has to be, proactive. And Julia will find M King in the meantime.
Oh, that's
but
important.
It's not it's definitely an entry that you're gonna need getting into the site. There's the Valkyrie around the corner. Julio hits the headshot as Novi's goes in for the crouch. Unfortunately, he puts himself in the wrong spot. The Habana doubling up with his teammate. His cameraman will find Julio, but Psycho on the refrag coming in from above. bullet hearing there's an opponent right around the corner here inside a bike. He'll get the 2K, and he knows that there's 2 opponents to deal with. Kamikaze will go for the default plant. As the hold comes down for the IQ. Go for the killer. No, there it is. I even fumbled my word. I just didn't know what to say in that spot. And all you needed to do was go and deal with the diffuser. Unfortunately, split-second hesitation means the Habana has the advantage, and the angle grip there, again, saving the day.
Yeah, especially when you need to respond that fast to a lot of plays here. Angle grip, I think, is definitely the play when Thatcher bans are in, especially because you're going to have to be rushing into areas a lot faster, and the delay you have from sprinting alone is already a bit of a trouble to deal with in ADSing. So yeah, and important kills came out there. The kill on the Buck was great early on, but then they didn't get the kill onto the IQ to help try and track down the pulse, which I don't know if that contributed to it or not, but they did manage to pick off the pulse as I believe the 3rd kill, and probably the most important because then they just lacked intel at that point to be able to fight back anymore. So yeah, it just important kills came out early on, and then C4 alone is great. But you really needed a bit more on that to be able to hold that off, especially with man advantage at the end. I like Bull at least reading that they were going to push the doorway, managing to get the 1 kill there, but ultimately he just lost too many teammates before the push even came. They'll get to go back to Aviator though and make some adaptations to this. Last time the adaptation was bringing Kaed, and they're going to do that again.
So you can hear that TCSG suppressed even. It's such a massive weapon, I have to say. But it rattles off, and at least now it's consistent. Back before this patch, the TCSG it didn't always open those rotation holes and the positions that you wanted. So I'm just glad the change came through. We'll see if the gun really will work well after the patch. I know many people are not happy about the potential of it being nerfed, you know, to 50 or so or 60 whatever damage, but that gun is ridiculous, and being able to 2-tap people at range with that recoil is just insane. So same thing that I would say to people that use the 3-speed Jaeger as a crutch. It's also a crutch in this case. So I know I'm singling out maybe, or you'll feel that I'm singling out you in chat, but I'm not. It's just a general thing to say. That said, there's Ash running around the corner here, and we'll go into the main hallway trying to pressure people up the top of red stairs. Nobody there, checking piano, nobody's in there either. You see the barricade there that was prepped for a quick assault, but the defenders didn't have the option to go for it. 2 rounds already for NIP is pretty good, and look at Muzi. He's out of the shrubbery now.
Someone's going to bring him a drone so he doesn't have to just face check every corner, although it actually goes a different direction. It's just watching his flank now. He is really risking a lot doing that, but yeah, at least hiding in the bush was a good idea for a minute there. He's really just playing very risky with the old crouch walk around the map and hope you don't run into anyone. I mean, it's working for him so far, although it sounds like could be getting in some engagements as he loses quite a bit of health. So yeah, face checking didn't benefit him there as he did not do any damage in return. The other thing the cap will get on NIP is, of course, they know they're going to be attacking this site, so it makes sense to be able to bring that again. A lot of damage being done with these C4s as well. Psycho on low health, but he's going to get, I believe, the job done. It sounds like it opens up the wall. So that's I got to imagine, probably with the help of Habana a little bit, potentially.
Would only make sense. I'm not sure if we used it at the bottom or somewhere like that, but it was well timed there with a grenade at the top of that wall just to find the kill on the Clyde Electroclaw. If you can snipe the smoke there, that'd be huge. He's just playing right behind the reinforcements, and it should give the information that, hey, I can't really be too aggressive and the smoke's gonna get out of position. No, he's gonna actually go for the gunfight against Capitao. The grenade being primed, then it'll hit right on top of cameraman. Predicted there, but it's Novice that actually rushes out. They take the kills, but the Habana will strike again. Unfortunately, Novice low in HP there, the mute. But it's a sacrifice, the smoke and the mute for 2 big kills on the attackers, and Muzi will find 1 more on the bullet. Is it worth it? That's the big question. And Muzi probably be going for a flank there. Oh no, Kamikaze will go for the refrag, but M King already tapped Julio down, and there's Cyber from behind. He's watching. The plant's going down, and there's Cyber with 1 kill. You know he's right around the corner. You're gonna stick the plant. Oh no, oh no. Oh no, there it is. Kamikaze's down on the floor. It happens. The knee of the Habana there was showing, and Cyber is going to connect unfortunate there. You peeked around the corner. You should have played just behind the indestructible bar, but you had no information on 90, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they lack the manpower to be able to set up the Capitao for success, to be able to, because the Capitao is very powerful in that gun vault. You can pretty much cut off the ability to use the gun vault for any kind of rotation, especially if they're already kind of in the middle. They're forced to either pop out one of the sides or take a lot of damage and potentially die. So, I mean, good setup for the attack, but they just lost way too many people. They even got a great job of getting the wall open, despite you have the Kaeda in play. So it was just down to, unfortunately, bad positioning there at the end, and peeking that with the Capitao, like you said, would have made more sense from the doorway, but they just didn't have that 90 control guaranteed. So good attempts, but this is what I would like to see, is this bring the Monty then, especially with Thatcher bans. Like with Thatcher bans and the current meta, like Monty is so much more important to be able to play the way you want to. We saw it, for example, with G2 on Theme Park, how effectively Pengu was able to use the Monty to be able to help counter a lot of the Wamai and shield play that was going on, because he was able to peek in effectively, find out what things are going on, and be able to help counter it, also occasionally get a kill or two. So it's definitely a good choice, especially with Legion being nerfed. He's not played nearly as much. So it's helpful. We'll see if Psycho gets anything with that. They're still going to have to deal with these castle barricades. That didn't end up being nearly as much problem as Castle himself, though, last time. He's actually going to be running double shotguns, I think, because he's running a primary shotgun, interestingly. And I imagine probably the super shorty as well. So that'll be fun to see. I mean, shotguns have worked out well for them so far. I don't blame them.
Did someone forget that, you don't have to... Okay.
Maybe he wants to do really quick remodeling.
Fair enough. But yeah, you see the UMP there being brought out. So Psycho's bringing out that Monty, and he's in. It's going to be pretty tough to deal with this Monty, and this is usually a lot of teams' initial, I say, adaptation, when they see, okay, well, they're winning gunfights against us. Let's just bring the one guy you can't actually win a gunfight against. And it makes sense. Cyber will find one, and, well, there's a refrag from Julio. You lose the buck. Sure, it's Pino. Great kill there, but the Monty, the big crutch, is still alive, and he just killed the two big roamers on MIBR. So NIP, yet again, for this sort of attack in Statue and Trophy, put themselves on advantage.
Looking pretty good to do so far here, 4-3. But last time they had some decent early start as well. They weren't able to actually get into sight. That was the big problem, is they couldn't push their way in. The grenades weren't landing. Pino again dead this time, but this time they have the Capitao to be able to help with that, combined with the Monty, because the Monty can go peek in, find out exactly where they are, and then block for Capitao to be able to shoot even a firebolt over Monty's head, actually, to be able, because it does the drop down thing. They could take full advantage of the Monty to be able to get the angles they need, cut off rotations from Astronomy. He just needs to find this player on his left. If he doesn't, this could be a problem. He's going to get smoked back, and there's a nice kill onto him. So great team play from MIBR in getting that kill onto Monty. That was the change they needed here. Julio's going to have to do some real work with this Capitao to make this happen now.
Nobody's been brought down onto the floor, as some damage will be exchanged here between the Ash, and who knows who's still on site. Oh, the perfect bait. And the second one, not going to hit. Kamikaze with one, and Julio for the last. NIP successful now on this attack. And what was the big change? That late flank into bedroom. That really is what opened it up for Julio and his squad. Knowing that the biggest problem was just, we were trying to push into sight. We brought the Monty. However, we lost the Monty. What do? Let's go for a quick flank late round. We barely have any time. You got the man advantage somehow as NIP. I have to say, the Wamai standing up on that on the black box was probably the mistake that lost half of the map control in the dying seconds of the round, and probably lost the entire round for MIBR. Now, 3 rounds a pop, that's pretty good on the attack, given, again, Thatcher and Maverick are both banned.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, definitely some great adaptations at the end there, because they realized pushing through the one door onto Trophy is just, it's a death sentence for them. And I'm glad they finally realized it, even if it was at the end of the round. We'll see. Obviously, things change now that sides have switched. We can see fairly even. Actually, wait, was that an exact mirror? I think it was almost an exact mirror of each other on the scoreboard, like literally the same order of the same numbers. That's funny to see, if that was true. But the big change here is bringing the Cali to deal with this wall.
No, okay, there's one.
The Electric Claw.
There's one number
1 number different. Oh, literally 1 kill different. Otherwise, and that so it basically Bullet has ruined it by not getting 1 more kill.
There you go. But the Kali, man, is it the solution on this map on Villa? I think she is viable. Not sure about other maps, but I'll be excited to see how this works, because again, when you have to deal with mood jammers and bandit batteries, that's one thing, but with Clyde, you can put that Electro Claw in so many different places, and he can catch up to 3 reinforcements with it. It's definitely not something that you can just, you know, fire and forget with a Kali and use her whatever utility is called. Again, it escapes my thoughts right now, but the lance, there it is. So you could definitely do work, but you can put those Electro Claws in so many nooks and crannies. I assume that this is now expected from NIP, that this operator will be played.
Yeah, well, we'll see how effective it's going to be. It's definitely not worked out the greatest for Latin America so far, but it's not a bad play. I appreciate just because they're actually going to try and get this wall open. That's the important thing, is I want to see that actually happen, because we saw a little struggle with that on the previous text because they weren't bringing that.
Cyber still walks up the staircase and finds the kill on Muzi. Shouldn't happen, but Pino with a refrag peeks around the corner again. Man, there's just so much aggression here, and I'm not sure if it's all really warranted. Bullet has taken a lot of damage, or excuse me, Cameraman, and I'm not sure if it's just from the electricity, the electrified walls, or some damage done, you know, somewhere at a quick peek. But man, that does not look too good for you. And Novi's is watching for Bullet. When you're putting the IQ on this sort of top-down play, it's not usual, that's for sure. There's the lance being brought out, a second lance also being played as the thermite will go to another position, use his thermite charge, and there it is, the lance being used correctly. This is how you run the Kali. I like this from MIBR. This is definitely practiced.
The thing I like about it, though, is just in the sense that once you get that open, now he can start to use those long angles, potentially, especially from the hole inside the hallway, if they can keep smoke pushed back, and actually snipe into the site, if he can actually hit his shots. Easier said than done, though. I mean, it's not exactly just a quick DMR. You've got to deal with, as you've mentioned before, the long-range zooming in can be difficult. He can use it to help fight this hallway here that Navi's is trying to fight, but at least they have control. That shield is definitely difficult to deal with, so it's interesting that they were able to get control of the top of the stairs without killing the shield. Oh, nicely played. Cameraman and M-King both getting 1 each. Falls apart at the last second. They're Psycho, unable to find 1 more. Their inability to hold the top of the stairs definitely hurt them there, as you see Jaeger's dead body. Unfortunate. Great play, though, with the Kali Thermite combo. Probably won't see a ton of that necessarily on this map, but it is a good counter, and I'm glad to see something being done about the Maverick ban.
I definitely agree, and if I'm not mistaken, please feel free to correct me on this because I haven't checked it myself, but Kali's lance also destroys shields, right?
From what, the explosion?
Yeah, or is it just stuff that are behind it? I don't know if it really acts against Goyo shields or something like that, but something to double check.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tested that. If there's a Goyo shield really close to it, maybe, but I don't think it really does a lot of explosive damage on the other side of it.
No,
especially considering, especially considering you probably have to hit a shield with more than 1 HP of damage. It's not like splashing onto a thermite breach, I don't think. But yeah, it's a good thing to test. There's so many gadget interactions to test. I appreciate the YouTubers out there who do a lot of that, like people like Core Ross. It helps just because we don't always have the time, because it takes 2 people or more sometimes to test stuff scientifically. So appreciate everyone out there that does a lot of that.
We can only test so much sitting at home, so
yeah, believe me, we watch that stuff when you
yeah.
do it, so.
Definitely, you know, there's so many content creators out there that are making it work, and yeah, trust me, we take a look at all of that, and you know, we can name them all day, but you know who you are. We always give you a shout out when necessary. But
some of them even become players, like Polo.
That's very true, and now he's gone way beyond the content creator level, so it all happens. Apparently, some people aren't smarter than a 5th grader. That's a pretty entertaining video, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I imagine a good portion of them are not.
I used to watch that show back in the day. It was really good, I have to say. I really liked the presenter that they had for it.
Was that Jeff Foxworthy?
I don't remember who it was, but it was
I think it was. Anyways, we are going to see the Kali again in this round. You see him trying to find a long angle into Astronomy, which is potentially he's going to be doing that now. Sorry, that was a different angle into the hallway. But it is good he's able to take advantage of opening those barricades quickly as well and put some fear into them with that gunshot sound. They are going to have the pulse, though, so we'll have some idea if Callie's close. But the nice thing for Callie, of course, is that he's probably going to be firing from long enough away, not going to get spotted on the heartbeat sensor. Julio's going to take a bit of damage there, though, on that Legion. Legion, of course, meant to slow things down on the entry to the site here. Could also be used to kind of leave a breadcrumb trail downstairs if he wants to play a little bit more roam. Help out poor Pino, who could actually be playing down here as well.
So
I'm sorry, they went for dining, not trophy.
Yeah, they're sitting inside a
They
kitchen
changed the
dining.
last second. They were doing trophy earlier.
So you still have to take control of trophy. So that point still stands. And cameraman's going to start things off with a kill on Muzi, and they're going to start walking up these stairs. NIP are just committing the same mistakes that MIBR were on their defensive side, which is just playing so super spread out with nobody doubling up and helping the other. There's no information that the Jaeger could have had in that case and actually used it to win the gunfight. You just have to hold the angle the whole time, and you know you can get pushed from behind at any point. Unfortunate, but here it is. MIBR are going to take control of the top floor. Nitro cells should be around 3 here for NIP. And Pino is definitely going to be giving out the information, but right now, all this map control is serving MIBR really, really well. Kali can hold long angles, but it definitely is not your most favored operator for this site take. Sorry.
Yeah, Muzi being down and Julio being at low health could make this work here, especially if Julio able to pick off Navi's there. It's going to be a little bit more of an exchange. They're not going to be able to spot the pulse now is the big thing, I think. Slow creep the site. Cameraman very unsure on who's in there, but he's actually going to at least help cover M King opening the wall. Questions, are they going to win the gunfights? Nope, they're going to get C4 down as soon as they try and enter.
Our cameraman's on the floor. You know there's one player around the corner, as I believe that's Pino there on the pulse. You're low on time. You're not going to go for pickups right now. 10 seconds left. You have to go to gunfights, and the pulse knows what's up. Psycho for the flank kill for one on M King, and there's another for Pino. They're all falling apart. MIBR. All right, all done and down.
That's the thing about that site is like technically the bans, made Trophy and Aviator stronger, but just playing the pulse downstairs, you can get so much work done because it's already not that hard to find good spots to hide in to where you can kind of fight upwards with, especially if you're bringing like the TCSG, to be able to fight up to players that are trying to play as well as hitting the C4s. You bring the pulse and it's so much better of a game to do that because you can call out the position to all of your team with a ping and make it very easy for them to avoid being hit, as well as being able to hit those C4s, but also to be able to spot the horizontal approaches from the hallways. He's able to call out if someone's going to try and sprint in a door, or in this case, thermiting a wall. And the Kali itself is just not really going to be very effective on that site. So overall, it's a good setup. And we've seen 2 wins now on dining defenses. Well, actually, one of them was an attack win, but it was pretty close to a defense win. Partially because that pulse was killed earlier. But we'll see how things go down on Aviator again here. They're going to bring the Goyo this time. So seeing the Kali, not going to bother with the Kai, and that's probably a good idea. As now it essentially makes the Kali somewhat useless. Like, you don't really get any benefit out of it. It may actually, I say that, but actually it may, depending on the range of them, clear out ADSs or Wamai discs that might be nearby. I mean, there could be black guys nearby as well, but that's less likely. So really, if Navis can spot some gadgetry that's near walls, you can still get some use out of Kali. But overall, it's probably just not going to be the greatest. So, however, they will likely get the wall open.
So I'm hearing right now that, the Lance actually destroys the shield. So there it is. It's just...
How close does it have to be, though, is what I wonder.
I don't know if it's a direct impact or it's something that you have to play on the bottom of it or something, but there it is. It's actually interaction that can happen. It's definitely not something.
Wait, do you mean if you shoot the shield directly with the lance?
I believe so. I'm not sure if it's exactly the way that it works, but it definitely does.
Near the wall.
No, it's a direct one. But yeah, there it is.
Well, they are going to take the bottom floor with a lot more effort than just sending a Buck downstairs. I appreciate that. A lot of times, teams will just send Buck down solo, hope he can do his job with some drones help, but they're actually going to do some work. And I like that they're also going to take advantage of the IQ from below to spot any gadgetry they might be able to hit from below, because there's so many soft floors for them to take advantage of here. Unfortunately, this grenade not going to hit anyone. Does get close though. Psycho himself is actually taking a lot of damage. Could be finished off. And the earlier you could kill Wamai, the better. So definitely helpful if they could kill him. And no, he's actually going to get a kill of his own. Fighting on the staircase here. Very low health now. It's the Jaeger trying to play the
Dealing with that shield is so difficult. You need help for it. Kamikaze is going to net a kill in the meantime. And all you're trying to do is just delay. Julio plays it well. This strategy, we talked about it before. You talked about how NIP lost the top of the staircase so quickly. What do? Put up shields so you don't... So it's that simple. And sometimes that simplicity is really what wins you rounds. And it's at least wasting a ton of time here for MIBR. They try to go for a flank, but they're already detected because there was a Valkyrie camera that was set there. You're left with 2 players. You find 1 kill finally on Muzi, but at what cost? It's not really going to do much for you. You're already slowed down. There's another shield and a shotgun at the top of the stairs. You get 1 kill, but you're tagged down low. Cyber barely is alive, and suddenly that lance isn't going to help you much because there's already a wall that's open on purpose and a reinforcement next to it that you're not going to be able to do anything about.
I mean, at least they have the location of the Goyo there, but there's not much he can do to actually push him. He's got the CZ, so he could go in aggressive. If he does this very quickly, like he does, that will work. And at the same time as well, the Buck trying to take advantage of the timing. I like that. Good play here. They could just isolate that remaining player or 2. You know there's 1 in Gun Vault. There was a Gun Vault. He's actually retreated out to be able to guard. Again, this good droning. This is giving them the possibility to win this. And luckily, at least they had enough time left to work with. There's about 30 seconds left. They have enough control, but the missed shots from Cyber there possibly costing them the round.
Downed him. Echo's on the floor. You could actually go for this. Remember, this bar is indestructible, and Bullet can just keep calm and go for this plant. 3 seconds left. Pino's priming the nitro cell, but is it well done? No. Bullet's going to get out of position and sit into a better one. He's going in for the plant. The Valkyrie knows what's up, but it's very common in Latin America to see these fake plants, but Pino finds the headshot, and there's the retake done. Diffuser spotted and will get taken away, and unfortunately, the Wamai sitting there, mouth open, cannot believe it actually happened. Even with a victory, this was very hard fought from NIP.
Absolutely. I mean, that could have easily gone wrong. He timed that maybe a little bit poorly in terms of peeking it first because, well, you know, the C4 was a great attempt, but he could have possibly gotten the kill on him while he was planting the diffuser, depending on how much of his body would have been visible. But hey, at the end of the day, they did win that, and it was just really good teamwork, honestly. An attempt from the Cali and the Buck, but it just wasn't enough. I mean, like I said before, when you're planting, that means you can't be fighting, and that's really what costs you at the end, unfortunately. We'll see another trophy, or actually the first trophy play here from NIP, because they had switched to dining last time instead of playing trophy. We'll see Bullet, again, continuing to try what we'd seen Cameraman do in the past. So just they switch which player is insisting on playing this, which is kind of funny. But I can understand that, because since Cameraman wasn't the most effective Cali play on Cafe before. So we'll see how this works out. They are going to be bringing the Goyo again, but a little bit different lineup overall. Surprising. This is the part that confuses me a little bit, though. If you're going to bring the Ella at this point, bring the shield with it, especially when Psycho's going to be bringing 1 extra shield and you're bringing the Goyo. Just add an extra shield to it. Why not? I mean, I guess because you're going to have at least 2 barbed wire from the Jaeger, and I don't know if you really necessarily need 4.
Yeah, it just depends, because sometimes you put like 1 right next to the you're gonna try to like split in between them. You put 1 like at the center here coming in from bedroom, 1 inside a bathroom, 1 at top red stairs. You see it there in the center, and you can use 1 just at the entrance of look at that long angle there, but you could put the other one and 90 at the top of it, just coming up from main stairs. So it's barbed wire. It's definitely not as effective as it was in the past. Yeah,
shield
exactly.
with a Wamai is more powerful than a barbed wire in this meta with Goyo being played.
I really agree with that.
We'll see how it pans out for him, though. There was some interesting barbed wire placements. Like, for example, near the trophy door, it was to the left of the door instead of directly in front of it. A nice air jab setup there. It looks like probably as well for the pantry rotate. Because you can never clear the wine cellar. It just takes way too long. Oh, nice attempt from Cyber. It'd be nice if Navis could tell him whether or not he's got to deal with Wamai discs.
Oh my god.
Deal with Wamai himself, and he does. Very important kill early on. Now those discs will not be in play. Almost finds a second. Not quite.
Around the corner.
He's cornered.
He knows it. You have the advantage here, but no, the yellow wins it. The higher rate of fire and the magazine just means that you can continue to keep on rolling into master bathroom. That flank is now shaken for the attackers.
Both grenades in his pocket, I believe. Nice trade there between Muzi and Bullet. So, cameraman now down. So they've lost. Hopefully, most of the air jabs were up. But taking down the Womai and the Jaeger, not bad, especially considering Julio and Pino are both low health. So it's really Kamikaze you're going to have to worry the most about here. But there's 2 TCSGs, so this would definitely be much more of a nerf defense in the future, potentially.
So just sitting back, MIBR, you can tell that they've kind of gotten a lot slower in the last minute of play here because they realized they're messing up in certain places, so they sent Novies over on the other end, and the other 2 players just hold their angles. They're going for a flank play, and you can tell that NIP have all of their attention onto Astronomy and on Bedroom, and if you can find the right kill here, it'd be huge. But the kite is on the floor. Pino's waiting, finds the head, immediately knows that we only need 1 to watch that flank, and advantageous for the TCSG. Ella's been spotted, but it's up to Bullet to go for that gunfight. And oh, the CZ-75 is going to win it. Gishmot is going to be popped, though, and it's up to Kamikaze to hold the flank. Pino's on the rotation. It's double TCSG, so long-range potential is definitely here. Tally or not, and you're just playing behind the bomb chassis. It's so difficult to push people out of these positions, and there's the pre-fire. Pino will find 1 kill. It's a 2k for him in the round, and M King will go into the same angle. No, he's turning around and trying to push into the kite to win the gunfight, and it's a 1v1. They go for the plant. Kamikaze, does he have a nitro cell? He should. The caller, it's going to come out. Throw it out. It's a nitro. It's a kill. No, it's off on the angle, but on the rotation out. M King will get caught, and Kamikaze will win the round. Like I said,
at the end of the day, Kamikaze was the one to watch out for. The other players at low health, and that TCSG just being so powerful along with the C4 combination. It's a tough fight. I mean, him and Kai both very strong in that sense, both the same gun and the C4. So yeah, it was difficult defense to deal with, but overall they played it pretty well in the attack and managed to get pretty close to that actually working. He just couldn't get out of the room in time. I think Caddy, that could have gone to his advantage in that fight, just because the TCSG would have had to fight quite a bit at range, potentially. We'll see how Dining Room goes for them, but now it's match point. NIP definitely looking to try and cement their first place, and Bullet not feeling like he needs to hide it. I would hope he's going to 6-pick off that. So he's got to know it's Dining. There we go, yeah, that's a much smarter play. You're not really going to get a lot of use on this particular site, as they saw last time. Mute Mozzie combo, though, in combination with the Pulse. Very nice to really deny a lot of intel on who's actually playing where downstairs to make it harder to floor bang them. But then in combination again with that Pulse to be able to help them counter that. And as I said earlier, this means Navi needs to try and work to at least pressure the Pulse, if not straight out kill him, just to make it hard for them to get the proper intel to land those C4s. The upside is at least there's one player, or two operators that can't bring C4s from the Jaeger and the Legion, so only 3 to deal with total.
So again, NIP on this defense, they have the potential, but look at every round that NIP have been winning. They've been very, very close. Like MIBR really get close to taking it somehow. They turn into 1v1s, and then NIP just swing wide and get the important kill that wins them the clutch round. So it definitely shows that both teams are very close, and I think the scoreline really gives you an idea of that. But it still is MIBR. Like you're trying to find, you're still trying to find the right utility, the right picks, the right operators to deal with the NIP, and I don't know if the operators are the real problem here. I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, it's just down to being able to pressure downwards effectively, or at least attack horizontally correctly, because there's only so much downward pressure you can have. Bringing the Jackal, I think, will help in terms of being able to track down players that are on the roam so they can get more horizontal control earlier, because you do want to have some of your players at least able to do that, so that the player pressuring top floor isn't just standing there with his whole team hoping out they can just win fights through all the holes. So I think this is the smart choice, plus the droning, of course. But they've got to worry about things like this. Julio playing all the way down in Wine Cellar. You heard one of his Gumayans go off. I imagine he heard it as well. So yes, the range visually was nerfed, but at least sound can still work in your favor, assuming you hear correctly which direction it comes from. And you, of course, still know where your Goos are placed. He's in a good spot here. He obviously can't vault up that, but he can fight up it. Pino trying to provide intel for his team as well. Cyber being dead early, though, is definitely helpful here to NIP in making this work. Obviously, that's a lot less downward pressure. There are some breach charges, at least from Navi's, but he's on the horizontal game right now. This is really not where he's going to be doing his best, most effective play. But maybe if they realize there's some openings they could take advantage of here. At least they have the secondary book of Bullet to be able to use the ITA to open some of the floor. If he can get in and take some control of Master Bedroom with help here from Cameraman, I believe.
But it's still wasting a lot of time, and Muzi is still in. A drone will be thrown right into his face, actually. It's going to force him back. It's a wise decision there from Muzi. Does he know there's a player inside of living room, or the mud room in this case? No. The IQ is trying to pressure from there, but Pino's going to give out the information, so you can focus on that later in the round. NIP are just going to forfeit the top floor, but it's the right moment for it, because how much are you going to find as MIBR? You've lost one player, the Buck, and you have to rely on your Jackal to do the destruction, and he's usually someone that you're just going to use his ITA to get, you know, soft destruction onto people that are directly under you in positions that are considered default, but not that full side destruction that we're used to when you see the Buck. So flashbang will be thrown right in the face of this Mute. He's going to double down on Laundry, but it gets shot from above. I'm just talking about him, and here's the Jackal. Muzi will find one kill. 4v3. NAP just have to hold on for a few more seconds. They'll get one more kill as everybody just runs and looks at the one angle that is left for these attackers of MIBR and NIP, clamping down with all of these bullets and magazines that they still have left. The poor Jackal gets shot in the face.
Yeah, there was no way that that round was getting won by MIBR with the amount of time left and the lack of the Buck to be able to pressure from above. It's not just the lack of, forcing the Jackal to do his job instead. It's also the lack of the grenades to force players out of positions and things like that. But again, just dining is a good setup in that meta. Psycho and Julio doing some good work.